Episode 42.
Wow.
Ooh. The meaning of life.
The answer. Yep.
The answer.
Yep.
To everything.
42.
Of all things. And
42.
We watched that when he died. Remember? Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Yeah. Remember when Dan died and we watched movies all day?
Yeah.
Slightly.
Me too. I also slightly remember it. Hey, welcome to episode 42. Steven's having a mental breakdown.
I'm trying to be the computer.
Always. Surprise.
So, to start off with some announcements, there's only one announcement today, and it's ominous. The announcement is there are some really cool things in the works right now to do some upgrades for the studio and such. So just stay tuned for next week, and we'll talk about that, more information there. But I'm so excited for some things we got moving. Next to that, let's just hop right into the recap. 2 of the 4 people that are here were not here last week. Joey's on his way, and Michael Holt is in New York Comic Con right now. Representing Molt at the Marvel Snap table, which is really cool and a really great opportunity for him. Also, Marvel Snap, great game coming out October 16th, going global. Really cool, really fun for that too. So, to actually recap last episode, for some quick stuff, Thelen, on behalf of Gwendolyn, delivered a letter to Laura Liv from Grunchen, which actually got given to Strokoff, which was then handed to. So a letter that Grunchen wrote was handed to Gwendolyn, which was then given to Thelen, which was then given to Strokoff, which was then given to Laura Liv. And then Laura Liv read that letter.
Oh, I did.
And then went back into the city and spent some time in the Garden of the Western Violet, which is the purple-leaved flowers there. Next to that, Misery worked on writing some music and performed some in the streets with 4 fingers. If you were here, you'd correct me if it's 3 or 4. I always forget. It is 4 fingers.
My notes say 4.
His old friend. Pilgrim got together early in the morning one day to reconnect with Farragrand and to talk about the possible use of Huskstone and to use that Huskstone to reconnect with Remy, as well as just his own desires and purpose to see it be used well rather than the way it was used before. And then over the next couple of days, he, Fairgrand, and a blacksmith and a carpenter worked on this large spiral telescopic device that they were able to insert these shards of the Huskstone to. And then also there was this kind of longer talk from Fairgrand about why magic works and how it works and what he does with it and how the will and intention of the magic user actually has a huge role to play with the way that magic creates things. And so then he invited Pilgrim to actually impose his will and desires and share that as part of the creation element to this device, while Fairgrand wielded the arcane part of that as well. Stephen then rolled a natural 20 for the potency of his will, transporting his consciousness through this device and seemingly out and through the cosmos. That's right where we're going to pick up to continue the story there. And so with that...
Seemingly, huh?
The last thing that Pilgrim heard after he traveled through stars and nebulae, I think that's the plural I figured out from the last time I tried to say it, and then he moved through these strands of silver that then from a greater distance appeared to be this silvery shimmering sea that he traveled through, and then there was this prismatic diamond wall in which he then saw several figures looking at him from the opposite side. And after he scanned by those and his eyes locked on one formless spatial star-figured one, that one moved closer towards him, seemingly making contact with the glass barrier between them. And then Pilgrim heard, "Nemo, it has been long awaited, the moment I could speak directly to you." That's where we ended. So that will continue now.
Wow. I feel like we went from Monty Python and the Holy Grail to Star Trek in like one episode.
Yep.
Nice one.
You also hear, "Many fates and paths wander and shift and fragment until moments of crisis are resolved. But yours, in this moment, it has always been certain. Your time here is quickly fading, and while there is much I wish to tell you, we must be brief." So, what would Pilgrim say in response to this? And all that he's experienced in the last minute of flying through space.
Yeah, would I be able to intuit from Would I know who this is?
Yeah.
Okay. Numero?
You recognize.
I do. I have been earnestly seeking your voice and your guidance for a long time.
There are many things that prevent us to communicate openly. What has been hard for you has been made harder.
Is this real?
Oh, this is very real. You are here. I am here. We all are here.
Well, did you know? Could you hear me all this time?
Sometimes and others not. Our bond, our connection is distant for good reason. And you can see his form on the other side through this glass, and even though he's right up against it, because of the way that this prismatic wall is structured, his form seems almost twisted and pushed off at odd angles too, because this barrier is refracting the angles at which his spatial void outline can actually be seen through it. And an arm of his just raises up, and kind of you can see the hand shape of it make contact against it. We have distanced ourselves with intentionality and purpose, though those means soon must be shattered. And then you can hear that the voice starts to kind of break in the connection. You do start to feel your consciousness shift, starting to move away from the wall and the figure you're talking with.
I think a little more, not angrily, but almost more urgently. Did you know what they were doing in those caves in your name?
My connection to your world, and then the voice starts to kind of break through that, and you can still piece together the syllables and stuff to make it through, has always been through the stones.
Numero, they were killing for those stones. They were killing your followers. They were killing my friends for those stones.
A purpose that can still be redeemed and fixed. And then at that, it starts to grow very distant and faint. And as you are reaching out and trying to continue the conversation, you can actually feel the mind link feeling that you typically have when you use that with other people too. It starts to sever and shift too. But just before the full distance is covered, where you start moving back through the path that brought you here, you can actually hear another voice speak through very boldly, very clearly. And you can just hear in a very deep and rich voice that I can't do. I hope you were right about him. And it's just that. It's very stern. It's very terse. And then you can hear Numera's voice respond. It is not him I hope to be right about, but all of them. And then your consciousness then shifts through, and you feel yourself fall through that silvery sea that you move through, which as soon as you plunge into it, you can then make out the individual threads and lines that make up that waving plane. And then you move through space and stars and planets, bright light, then eventually snap through an atmospheric-like layer to where you can then see the rolling hills and mountains of the place you came from, all flying at a rapid pace towards them, which you can see to be populous, flying into this balcony off to the top of this tower and you can feel your consciousness kind of spiral through the telescopic device, go through the mouthpiece of it, and then hit your body right there next to Fairground. And you're back.
I fall down.
Fairground catches you, kind of throws his arm back behind your shoulders, and you're sweating. You feel like a cold sweat hit over you, and heavy breath as you're adjusting to being back in your body after what felt like it could have been minutes, could have been hours.
Big yawn. It works. That's for sure.
Did you hear something?
Fairgrand, I do believe this device catapulted me into some sort of audience with the gods. I spoke to Numero. I could see others that would I have recognized any? Were they all too formless to like? Was there any like perception level like?
Roll another religion check.
That's 11.
Okay. So a couple that you have heard about can kind of connect some of what you've seen, thoughts that you've had from things that you've heard as well, and you should have a list right here. Maybe not. One second. But the first of which I would say is less because of a lot that you know about her and more from seeing her and her prominence and her interest in you really stuck out from just how, even in your peripherals, this figure just logically makes sense to you who this person would have been. And so there was the Dragonborn figure in the white robes that then kind of trailed into a bit of a rainbow figure towards its feet. And at some point you saw Valessa, who's the god credited with the creation of the entire world.
Oh my gosh.
Next to that, none of my notes are quickly accessible. You, of course, recognize Numero. And then two more I'll add for the 11, for percentage-wise out of all of the gods that were there. So one of them is the one that Thule is wearing a ring of, that has come up quite a bit too, and so your familiarity with talking about her and being able to see her is like an easy connection for you to make. And so you saw a figure in a very pale elven female with light blue tinted hair, and a bow strapped to her back, and this was Anivia.
Anivia.
Some quick information that you can also recall when thinking through this is Anivia is known to control the threads of fate that represent each living person, is associated with cold, ice, and snow, and is also the god over death and dying. Not in the way that we might associate a god of death being very like dark and like almost necromantic, but actually with the elements of like peace and fate tied into that of dying and death, of like the purpose of life and all of that. It's actually more about purpose than it is about end. And then lastly, actually, as you're piecing together the voice that you heard, as well as somebody standing right next to Anivia, one more god that actually has not come up yet at all and is hitting you for the first time from some of your old study and stuff too, and actually seeing the gods in front of you is kind of kicking up some of this. Another god named Trith, Tryth. Some nicknames for him come up: Father of War and God of Steel, Steel. This is the god both over war and compromise, supposed to be over actually neutrality and fairness. War to him is a last resort, but also a powerful means to an end. So, You saw, and he actually is married to Anivia as well, that they have a very close familial relationship.
But I wouldn't have necessarily been able to pinpoint the bold voice I heard to any specific.
No, because you've never heard the voice of gods before.
Right. Okay.
That wasn't truth? Oh, I thought you said that was truth. It wasn't.
It may or may not have been.
I mean, I didn't know pinpoint. But was there like a rough estimate of how many gods there were generally, or maybe it was too overwhelming?
I think you rolled a pretty good perception check last episode too, when you were giving a little bit of a survey. You would have somewhere around, could have been 10 to 12.
Okay. Well, yeah. I spoke with Numero. I saw Valessa and Nivea and Trith, and there were many more. Perhaps 10, perhaps 12. It was quite an overwhelming experience, and I barely had the chance to begin a dialogue with Numero, and I was swept away. I heard a voice, a bold and resounding voice, but it was all too much to know who was speaking, and then I was here. That's right. That's what I said.
This is very much out of my wheelhouse, and you believe this to be real?
I have never experienced anything quite like this, anything close.
I've never heard of anything like this or anything close to this.
My people have a deep devotion to Numero that is instilled in me, and we've spoken of him in our. The wisest among us have described connections to Numero before. I knew it was him, and there was no doubt in my mind, seeing and hearing him, that it was him. I can't see how my mind could have fabricated this, especially these other gods that I've known from study, but I knew it was them, and I was launched into the stars, but I wasn't truly. At least I assume I was here the whole time, correct? What did it look like from your perspective?
You had your hands up on the device as you were putting the stones in, and we were focusing our powers and your desire and your will. Would you say what you experienced is in line with your deepest, greatest desires?
I have longed to clear the fog in my mind and to regain what I had learned in my training back in the Kalishtar clan and with the Krisa people, and I feel as if I had a brief moment where I regained that and more, and something none of my people have ever quite experienced before, to my knowledge.
Well, like I had described to you as we set this device up, my power only existed to enhance what you willed these stones to accomplish. I'm humbled and excited to hear how much power you had within your will to produce an experience like that. I also strongly encourage you, after we finish here and we kind of fine-tune this and play around and see what else we can get this to do, if it is so successful, at some point you should make your way to the archive, and we should document your experience and what you've seen and what you've heard with our records here, and let some of the historians and religious scribes and such study over what you've seen and what you've heard and see if we can piece something together.
Yes, would you say it is those at the archives that may know the most of the gods of our world?
Yes, they have great interest in both collecting. You had the book for a while. I'd seen you peering over it. An ongoing record of travelers who come here and the stories that they tell about their gods. And for that to have been so close to home for your own experiences, for something to have happened right here and be so detailed and so connected to multiple gods, there's quite valuable information that you have.
Yes. Yes, I would be eager to speak with them and to see what insight they may have as to this experience.
But yes, before we get on to tomorrow's tasks, let's play around with this thing and see what all we can do. And then he lifts it up and starts to twist it on the tripod and move it off into different directions. And then he pulls out a little piece of scroll paper that he has with a map and starts to look over, looks up at the stars, starts to do some calculations, writes some stuff down, has a dial that he is able to install to it as well that kind of measures angles and degrees to a certain point, lines all of this up. You see him for a very efficient 5 to 10 minutes where he's able to then fine-tune the actual direction using both space, because you've been here for a couple of days and this is taking place at a clear night that he intentionally said would be a good time to do this, and starts to move it around. Now, what I'm doing now at this point is, well, Dustforge seems to be an important place that you all would be heading next to. I'm tuning this over in that direction and seeing if we can connect with anyone or anything, and then maybe over the next couple of days I'll continue to aim this thing around and see if we hear of anything important. But yeah, that is my goal here. And he looks very distracted and he's looking down. There's something coming through. And then both of you can hear, once he starts to move it and his voice gets louder and louder, this very harsh, guttural language. What languages do you speak? I can also look up pretty quickly.
I don't think.
You don't think?
I don't think. I don't know how I've made it this far. What section is that under? Proficiency in languages. Might that be it? Common, Dwarvish, Elvish, Quarry, Thieves' Cant, and Undercommon. Oh gosh.
You speak Quarry?
Apparently.
Wow.
I guess that's part of that being a rogue. Mm-hmm. But also I have mind blends, which just kind of defeats the purpose of these characters.
So you don't understand this language. And
It's like, of all the languages you know, this one you know?
and also neither does Variant, for that matter.
Have I ever heard it in other places? Does it ring any bells?
We had a scroll that had Infernal on it.
Roll a history check.
No. Okay.
Okay, fine. You don't know.
That's a natural 1. I go brain dead.
You go back through the thing, but then you never
Guess
go
I'll
back.
die.
Okay. So yeah, you are not really able to pick up anything about the language at all. Cool. Anything that you can anchor it to remember it. Maybe you'd be able to repeat some of the words later from just hearing it, but yeah, you're not able to connect it or discern anything from it. Well, that's odd.
Huh. Indeed.
Well, what?
Is there lactose in it?
I just didn't know there were drugs on the can.
What's the joke? We paused halfway through this episode for a joke from Cassandra.
I 100% heard I didn't know there were drugs in this can, and I was like...
The main ingredient is LSD.
So it's a sycamore pumpkin latte blonde. A lovely, lovely little
Wonderful. I'm enjoying every sip.
I wish my mouth was bigger.
Now this may be offensive to some listeners, almost as offensive as Steven is to all listeners. Did you know?
Damn!
Did you know that if you say pumpkin latte blonde 3 times in a row, a girl in yoga pants will appear to tell you what she loves most about fall?
Sexist.
I like pumpkins and scarves, and when kids are like all bundled up.
Nobody
You're not
said
in
it.
yoga pants, though.
Nobody said it.
But you're not in yoga pants.
I'm afraid
I just
to.
like fall, and
Pumpkin
so does
latte
everyone
blonde.
else.
Pumpkin latte blonde. Pumpkin latte blonde. Retroactive.
Well, obviously this device needs some fine tuning.
This language of pumpkin and latte.
That was the language.
I'll keep playing around with this and seeing if I can find anything else useful. And I'll keep sending messages out. Holy cow. And I will keep sending messages out for Remy and seeing if I can find any way to connect with her as well. To maybe get some information on direction or if she's okay. Hopefully with this we'll have some intrinsic relationship to the Kalashtar to allow me to do that, which clearly between you and your god it does.
You're an individual of considerable magical ability. Do you think you could use this device in a similar way, or do you think that the Huskstone that powers it has a very direct connection to me?
I hope to answer that question accurately after a couple of nights. I believe that we've created a fully functioning device that can do something, very great things, apparently. And between its design to communicate and receive communications mentally that I have been able to instill, and your will and desire that has empowered it to do that on apparently a great distance. This seems to be our best chance to accomplish that.
Yes. Well, it seems my next destination is the archives.
Tonight, I do believe they would be closed by now, or at least only the very lowest in position that would just create an appointment for you later.
Right. I'm a little scrambled at the moment mentally. I did just see God. I suppose I will retire then and make for the archives in the morning.
Thank you for trusting me with this and, well, giving everything that you had for seeing this work to the best of its ability and submitting everything that you have tied up with these stones and your hope with them, your relationship with your God. You've put all of that on the line for me and this, and for the sake of learning. I will never forget how much that might have troubled you.
I extend my hand in a handshake gesture.
He hugs you instead.
Wow.
I say, thank you you have set me on the path that I hope leads to closure and peace. There's still much to work through, and I'm not sure what exactly to think after the exchange I did have, but thank you.
Often, I also don't know what to think, but I find the right thoughts eventually.
A luxury I hope I can one day attest to as well.
Keep thinking.
I'll try. Just do it.
Just like a sketch where two people both have to have the last word.
Do you want to keep going?
Yes.
Me too.
Classic Fairground.
Classic Pilgrim.
Okay.
I have the guns.
I also said okay. And then.
Sorry about the shadow people pounding on the door.
Yeah. Okay times infinity. And then I run up the sprint upstairs.
You keep saying infinity and okay. So let's zoom into Lorelith at the Western Violet Gardens. You spent some time there. Time is really weird for us right now.
Wait, I left there already.
Where did you go?
I went to Grinch's house. And
Okay.
remember, and
It's my house.
I went to Grinch's house,
Okay.
and what's his name?
Munkin came and met me there, and we talked about it, and we had a beautiful moment together.
Okay.
You finally had a good.
Don't you remember?
Of course.
Don't you remember? It's in my nose.
I think it happened after.
Have you been spending the night at Brendan's place?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been fixing up the garden.
That's correct.
And Wolfie answered the door.
Yes. When Munkin came back, right. I imagine as we continue to spend a couple more days, so time passing, I think it's fair to say Gwendolyn would stop by Gringen's house and eventually connect with Lorelith. And so I think we can kind of run by the same setting, whereas she knocks on the front door and you're either in the house working on whatever you would be doing there or out in the gardens or whatever, but we can set you two up for a little scene as well.
Is this the first time we've
Yes.
seen each other
Yeah.
since house?
Yeah.
She's there. I'm going in.
However you all want to set it
Is
up.
that what you just said?
Yeah.
I'm there.
Okay.
I haven't really left it.
How long have you been there? It's gonna be really hard for me missing the last one.
It might be like a day or so.
Okay.
too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like-
Yeah.
okay. Just anyone correct me if I.
Yeah, last thing, because you weren't there last time, kind of like the last thing you would have remembered was Thelen was going to go out and talk to Gwendolyn. You gave him the letter, and then you have been doing whatever Gwendolyn would be doing in town. But this would be kind of like the next day after that. So
Just Gwen things.
yeah,
You told him to hug me. He didn't. I mean, I don't know that. But
Right.
Loreleth doesn't know that.
Grangen did I hug you?
No. Remember, Gretchen hugged you and said, give this to
Right.
hug Loreleth for me,
Right.
and then you hugged Felon and said, hug Loreleth
Well, I don't remember that, but that makes sense. Okay.
for Gretchen. He didn't.
And Thelen didn't. Ooh, rude.
But Loreleth doesn't know that.
That's true. That's true.
Just me and Sally.
I won't bring it up.
Sally, no doubt.
I'll go in. I don't feel good about. I don't know. I don't feel good about this.
Why?
I might kill Lorelith. I don't know.
Oh my god. A lot has happened since you last saw me, okay? I'm in a better place. Jeez. I went. When you come in, I'm not inside. I'm outside working. Well, what time of day is it?
whatever time of day you want it to be.
2:22.
Afternoon.
Yeah.
Great. I'm outside.
Okay.
Working on the garden.
Which Wolfie?
Fixing it up. When you walk in, he probably hears you before I do.
Okay.
And he comes and greets you.
Okay. I pat him. Hey, Wolfie. I'll, look around, see what you've done with the place.
Not a lot.
In a day.
Not a lot with the inside.
Not a lot. And I will come find you. I have no idea what I was doing in the meantime.
Okay.
Hey. Hey, friend.
Hey.
Well, welcome home.
Thanks.
Welcome to our spot.
This is me and her.
We're back.
Guy boy.
We sang that the first episode.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. I after I was in the woods and Felon came and found me and gave me the letter that Gringen gave you.
Good.
And he said some nice things in it, and
Oh no.
Cats materialized
What's gonna happen to us?
into bigger cats.
Not feeling it.
well, eventually Joey's gonna come through that door.
One day. What if it's a funny prank he waits 2 hours to come in?
And then misery dies.
Oh, hey!
Do you think he knows about the tiny pumpkin pies and that's what's taking him to?
Probably. He's probably eating all of them.
Wait, it wasn't really
He
Joey?
doesn't like pie.
No, it was.
I hope.
Y'all can continue.
It was
I
Joey?
wanted to scream.
pretty sure.
It's a good thing Misery's done.
Ah! We were in the middle of something really important. You interrupted us, so you can just leave now.
Do I sit here now?
Oh, there's
Yeah.
a kitten.
Both cats.
Or you can join me on this bench. You can either sit by your wife or not. Okay.
I wouldn't take that personally.
I would.
I take everything he does personally. Yes. I got the letter from Felon, and yeah, I've been here about a day and a half, working on fixing up the place, as you can see, and you look around. We're in the garden, and I've planted herbs and the like that I found in the city of de-weeded. Is that the word? Unweeded?
Weeded?
Yeah, weeded.
I put in more.
I thought you said in the city of de-weeded, and I was like, where did you go?
Nope. Nope. Nimbus, are you wearing my backpack?
Nimbus?
He's wearing the backpack.
Oh gosh, he did put it on.
Are you stuck?
Have fun editing this in post, Steven.
No.
He doesn't have anything on him between the beginning and me.
There you go.
Is wearing a different job.
He took it off.
You all know who Nimbus is.
It's all part of the experience.
He punched my butt with his head.
Uh-oh.
Good boy.
Nimbus is good HR now.
You look around. You look around the garden, and it's a garden now. Before there were like, I don't know. Do you think you ever went outside at Gringen's house?
Probably not outside.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't look any different to you because you have no idea what to look. But it's a beautiful oasis now, with flowers and herbs and the like.
So you like it wasn't like planting things and they grew. You like transplanted things.
I transplanted some things and I planted some things. I did a combination of both. There's some room for growth, but there's also some new growth.
Wow.
That's powerful.
How poetic.
Oh, that's terrible.
That's what you see.
It looks great. You did a lot of plant work, a lot of green thumb.
Secret.
Yeah, I thought,
There's a lot of green stuff.
5 green thumbs up.
Gross.
Isn't that how you rate stuff on
this whole Cicero's estate, will we ever see him again? Who knows? What if he comes back with, I don't know, 2 daughters or something?
Yeah.
Oh.
And a dog.
He doesn't even have a wife yet.
there's no
A dog? Are they getting a dog?
No.
Oh my god, I got so excited.
I know.
That would have been such a change of fate. Not Cicero,
This
but
scene has
Tim.
fallen apart 5 times.
I know. And Nimbus is putting on the backpack again, so it's about to fall apart again. He's really
I just didn't know, I thought a different place of respite for people like us and felon people could be nice.
Yeah, it's nice. It's been nice to have a shelter that is familiar and not in the woods, and kind of be able to build some things up. I wanted to tell you that I really appreciate you buying this place, even though I kind of left abruptly earlier this week, and I'm sorry for that. Thank you for buying it. I think I have money to give you. Do I have money? I have money.
It's up to you if you have money on your character sheet.
No one has ever.
Don't have any money.
I have all
That's
the money.
not true.
No one has ever.
I would like to give you some of my share of money from your pocket to your own pocket to pay you back
What an interesting way to say that.
for this. That's what it is.
From my pocket to your pocket.
No, from her pocket to her pocket.
Oh.
Because I don't have anything in my pocket.
I think I paid 25 gold.
Great.
Beautiful.
Take 25 of mine for yourself.
You don't have to be sorry about anything. I know it was a tough time, and I'm just glad that you had your space and Grinvin gave you that letter. And yeah, if you want to split it, that's fine. If not, it's okay. There was no expectation. Just if you wanted to.
I want to split it. You can take some of my money that you have. Keep it for yourself. Don't spend it all at once.
Keep some of my money.
Also, and then just for logistics, it was like 25.
Okay.
Because I gave it some extra. So if you want to split it. Also, would you like your money, like your share?
Oh, sure. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I guess so.
I can give that.
Maybe
to you.
I'll
I'm
get
still carrying.
Strokoff a sweater. Do people get pet sweaters?
They do.
All right. We are in business.
Glenn was weirdly into that.
And maybe your bees can get matching sweaters.
Bees? Oh my gosh.
You like gas them, this one fall out.
With little holes for their wings. And then they'll buzz around Wolfie's face.
Good.
Like,
Oh my goodness.
I hope so.
I'll logistically figure out the money on the side. So we
Okay.
have
There you go.
to forward Dan to death with that. Do I have keys to this place? Like multiple? Do I need to get a key made?
Yeah, you can have keys made, as many as you want.
Yeah, I just want to make sure Laura has a key.
Yeah.
To home.
Sure.
I got in here somehow.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't give Wolfie a key.
He needs a key.
Anything else
Put a
between you
key on
two?
his collar.
Yeah. Huh?
I don't
Anything
think
else
so.
between you two? All right, to hop through time again, let's get to a point where everyone maybe except Pilgrim, but if Pilgrim wants to be here at some point throughout this, I'm just trying to imagine and track the days. But would there be a point where everyone, yeah, including Pilgrim, where everyone kind of reconvenes at some point throughout the 2 weeks at a common space or anywhere that you think would be appropriate for that?
Ocean Steve.
That seems the most likely, I think. So I think we can say we're at a point where we can even quick hand, like Pilgrim's gone to the archive and has talked through and has reported a bunch of information out. We can even do some follow-up again with Farragram, which I will do, but I think we can zoom into a point where y'all have been able to kind of connect on a one-on-one basis, and it's just determined like, oh, it would be a good idea for us all to reconnect. We were maybe 3 days out from leaving, so a lot of time has passed. And also, you know what? Even better. Let's do this over the fact that the Issarow estate is complete. Hey! And so this is kind of more of like a grand unveiling and connection for everyone to come and see where the cat with the camera is. Oh, that's not what's underneath.
I think that's just
Dang it!
it might be an entry.
That's really funny.
Really fun.
That makes sense though. So let me pull up my document for the actual house.
Huzzah!
So, as you all are met with, and Treya Valerian kind of sends out some messages. Some guards connect with y'all or pull y'all aside at a certain point, and lets everyone know that at this point, at this time, the house is going to be unveiled. And so, you all connect in the morning, 3 days before y'all are heading out towards Dustforge with Treya. And on this morning, you meet her there on the outskirts of this building, outside of Populous. And immediately what you see is a 2 to 3 floor brick construction of a place. Right on the front is this shield crest that has a scroll in front of it, and it says the half dozen, like boldly right there on the front.
Nice.
It's a cart of eggs.
Treya, kind of standing in front of it and looking very proud over it, turns over to you all and looks back at it. The finest work that the builders, stonemasons, decorators, even the Cooks Guild, all working together to provide the best that which we could. Well, I will not cloud your day and join you for the tour, but go ahead, head inside, and find your own spaces exactly to how you all have described, I'm certain. Even though I don't have a description from Gwendolyn, but we'll work that out
I
live.
was with my dad.
Gwendolyn was with her dad, or like you, Cassandra?
Gwendolyn says that.
Go ahead, and then as you all walk through the front doors and explore the place, I'll just go ahead and just kind of describe room by room what happens. So after you see the main front gate and the crest on the front too, the first room that you walk into
Bathroom.
immediately 8.
Yeah, how many bathrooms are in this place? I realized we never asked for those specifically.
There are 8 buckets in the first room.
Yeah, it's like they're not gonna be really rooms.
They're all out.
The first room is a receiving room, and the first thing that grabs your attention is that there are 3 separate massive oil paintings on the walls here. The first one is kind of an overview of Populous. The second one is a very plain angle, but a very obvious and important building. The angle of the government buildings that captures the archive itself. And then the last one is a side view looking across the road over towards the Western Violet Gardens. So all 3 of these just immediately being staple vantage points of Populous. Outside of that, there's overstuffed seating, very comfortable places, just kind of relax and rest. There are empty racks around the room for things like armor and weapons and things like that for you all to just like immediately get comfortable in this space. Several lounge chairs, end tables with decanters and glasses set up, and also a large hearth already with a fire going, and a wall to either end of it lined with firewood ready to be put into this fire and to keep it going.
Did you say hearth?
I said hearth. Why?
It's hearth, right?
Hearth? Hearth. That makes sense.
Your hearth with Perth.
Just kidding.
Like
just
Earth. Like Earth is a
I think it's
age.
Hearth. Like Hearthstone.
Hearth?
Hearth.
Oh.
Hearth is good.
Hearth.
Isn't it
Hearth. I think it's Hearth.
Dirty Earth?
Hearth.
Good George out there.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. There's a massive and then there's off to the side of this room is a dining room with a table set for 12 people. There's a green runner cloth. There's a green runner cloth going down the center of this table. Candelabras are on the edge of the room, and a large wooden bowl set out in the very center with fruit ready to go.
How many?
Real fruit?
How many fruit?
One fruit.
Not a dozen?
What?
None doesn't
It's one watermelon.
It's not even in the bowl. It's just
Next to that room.
This is a funny house.
It's a cereal bowl with an enormous watermelon.
Dining room with fruit.
Next to that room is a fully functioning kitchen with wood-fueled ovens, preserved meats hanging around, cheeses stored, and casks of wine, all from the Lillarian estate, all set up and ready to go in a storage room off to the side. And on the same floor, there's also a meeting room, a large circular wooden table with a dozen chairs around it, a couple of desks around the perimeter of that room too, all set up with quills, inks, and paper. And also, immediately walk into this room, there's a circular table. The desks are off to the left and the right. On the back end of this are a couple of torches that light up another banner that says the half dozen in this meeting room.
Daft.
Is there an imposter button?
That is the main floor.
Imposter.
Downstairs from this is a basement with a reflecting pool / meditation pool, a very cave-like feel. The walls are half covered in moss, and then there are sconces around the exterior of this with stones that are lit up to emit a faint purple light.
Is this your room?
Well, then above that, so that's the basement, then there's the main floor that I described. Above that, the next floor includes Tuli's room, very simply decorated. It's got a poster of the Beast of Displacement. It has a bedroll set up and some mats for different exercises and things like that. And I think it's generally it's pretty plain, right?
Very Japanese, like tatami mat
Yeah.
style.
Yes. Next to that,
Japan.
there's 2 rooms to the left and 2 rooms to the right from the main hallway, and then stairs that head up to the next. The one on the same wall next to that is from Julie's is Gwendolyn's room, which, how does that look?
Now you got it.
Bees.
Do you want me to just go with
Yeah,
whatever
just
the
go.
heck I think would be in Gwendolyn's room?
Yeah.
Lots of bees.
Watermelons.
Bees. Bees on bees on bees.
It looks like a beehive.
In a hill.
No.
I want Dan to do it.
In a bee.
There's a table set up with brewing supplies and a whole kit for that ready to go, with also all of the implements needed to do different brewing and mixing. It's a laboratory for ale making ready to go. But that's on one end of the room. The other side, there's a couple of dead tree stumps and things set up to look as if it's still alive and kind of in the woods. And then a hammock set up between 2 of those stumps for her to rest in and sleep. So on the left half, you see this very naturey, woodsy, almost home-like feel if you were to be from a place like that. But on the other side is kind of more workroom and more invention and play space, perfectly evenly divided between the 2.
Work from home life.
Across the hallway is Misery's room and Pilgrim's room. Misery, we described yours. You have a canopy bed, and so you have a very fancy, very comfortable setup with one of the best types of mattresses and beds that the city could possibly provide. However, the walls are bare brick walls, and there are posters of your band around as well, and practice space and different stands for different instruments set up, and a desk for writing also privately here. Again, like we described it, the bed actually stands out more than anything because everything else is very simple and very plain. So it's this very ostentatious, very fancy decorated bed that looks extremely plush and comfortable, but then everything else is grungy.
It's Anna Johnson's bed, isn't it?
Sure.
Her mattress.
Then Pilgrim's room, which you can also describe who you're bedroom would look, 'cause I don't think we really covered that either.
You got 2 rooms?
No.
I thought he had the dungeon.
Well, that's for everybody.
Oh, Pilgrim?
Meditation.
Yeah, that's just a meditation room.
I said, is that your room? And he nodded yes.
It was my idea for a room.
He doesn't know.
I mean, he's the one with the floor plan. My room is very simple,
It's okay, I have my own house.
and it has a window, and then it has a bedroll.
That's right.
Dang.
Perfect.
That sucks.
And
Which is right next to Missouri's room. They were like just sharing a wall. And then up one last floor is Thelen's room, which is off to the side. They each kind of split to the roof between Thelen and Lorelith. And oh gosh, I cannot remember Thelen's. Thelen's was
This
like,
was like open to the outside, right?
yeah.
A wall gone.
Kind of like
Right.
a tree
It's
house.
like a
almost.
treehouse.
Yeah, and his was more like half open to the nature and treehouse, and then yours was more completely enclosed but greenhouse, so glass. And,
mine's a terrarium.
yes.
Wow.
And so y'all's rooftop is like the brick continues up, and then the brick on the left side turns to glass and is roofed over, and then the right side continues with a glass kind of roof awning, and then is completely open to the elements on that off side. And so there are curtains and stuff that can be drawn to create privacy between Thelen and Lorelith's space. However, when they're open, it's like the both of you are open to the sky, the city, to nature around you. Lorelith, your room on your side with the greenhouse, immediately, if you look over the edge of the building, is the woods that are on the outside of Populous. Thelen's side is more split between, if he looks straight north, you can kind of see the woods and the lake, but straight south is more towards the city.
Isn't my like bed in a tree house as well? Don't I also have a tree?
Oh, yeah, there's a tree kind of growing onto the roof of y'all's building, where, yeah, you were able to build in a tree house where your actual sleeping arrangements are, but otherwise you have garden space and stuff that you can completely take over however you want. Yeah.
Nice.
Thus is the Half Dozen's home in Populous.
I'd say while we were taking the tour, once we got to the cavern part, then Pilgrim would have stopped to stay there for a little bit.
Okay.
Lingered down there.
Yeah.
Oh, I would run up to my room and go to my desk.
Yeah.
I'll pull out a little thing.
And right, I hit you down, I hit you down.
No. Write my song. Work on my song.
Nice.
Y'all are in charge. Y'all are in your own space, able to interact, talk, be private with what you need to do, and then reconnect with other people when you're ready to.
Guys, I'm gonna go think / write the signature song I'm writing.
You're alone in your room. Who are you talking
Yeah.
to?
I'll also
And then I
say, this is the first time that y'all have seen Thule in like 4 or 5 days. Like, she's been completely off the grid from you all.
Are you super buff now? Is there into the guard?
Tuli is, I'm in the guard. Tuli looks rough. She has
Not
like,
buff, rough.
rough. She's
no.
a black eye. She has like a cut on her cheek.
Oh shit.
In that super movie star way. One single cut. One little nose bleed. And she's kind of like stretching her shoulder as if it hurts a little bit. And she didn't say anything about that when she came in. And she still doesn't say anything about it. But once everyone splits off, she says, I'll make dinner. You guys want to eat dinner together? Already walking towards the kitchen.
Oh,
Kitchen.
sweet.
Is it dinner time?
Well, she's going to go start a long process of making dinner. Because it's the afternoon, right?
Like, y'all got to the house from the outside in the morning. So,
Okay.
like,
Lunch.
Yeah, y'all have plenty of time to be in your own space and check it out and have some time to yourselves, and then eventually reconnect for. If you want to spend all day privately and then come together at dinner, or if you want to do less time for lunch, that's fine too.
Get out of my room.
How long would Pilgrim want to like meditate and be off in the basement?
Just for a moment, I'll just, I think quickly, like, he would get by the pool and get quiet, and because the last time I tried to connect to Numera would have been the trippy experience with the telescope. So I'm just gonna see if I can directly connect again and kind of get down a few calming breaths and say, Numero, are you there? Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Make a religion check.
A Religion check.
Religion.
That's
What the heck is that?
6 plus 5 is 11.
Okay.
Fail.
You, even though your experience feels very similar to the time that all the times that you've tried to connect with Numera and it's felt kind of vacant or empty, even this time though, it feels the same, except that you have this familiarity and comfort that from what you've learned and from what you've experienced, this is not distance or disconnection from like his will to not be connected with you, but there's this space where you know that it's kind of desired from both ends, and even though you're not in this moment getting a strong connection, you don't feel less than or neglected or kind of off on your own from that. You don't feel alone from him, even though there's no answer.
Okay. Numero, I want to, if you could see us and you knew what they were doing, I don't understand what reason you have that would prevent you from intervening from what they were doing. I was raised to trust you without question, but I feel like where trust was in my mind, there are only questions, and I need answers. I don't know why you would choose to separate yourself as you have, and I feel quite lost.
You expel out these sentiments and process and kind of vent out to him thoughts that you've been building up for a very long time and questions that you've had. And you feel known, you feel heard and understood in this relationship. And that's where this moment ends for you, because you've expressed yourself and there's not an immediate response or answer, but there's some contentment with what you have right now for what you have.
I get up and go find the rest of the crew.
Okay. What else? Are you good?
She broke.
We can fix her good.
No. It's okay, I super glued like
Yeah. We've got Misery writing some songs and taking care of some notes and stuff in his room. Anything you want to talk through with that, or is it more of that overview?
That's kind of it. You can hear like some humming coming from the room.
Okay. Julie's making lunch for everyone.
Yeah, or dinner, like whatever we would have said if we want to just. She is terrible with vegetables, but she's really good at like maintaining a flame to like slow roast meat over the fire. And so she's been like putting spices on this like big thing of meat that like venison maybe that was hanging, and is like slowly roasting it. So maybe dinner, maybe lunch.
Great. Yeah, so just taking care of the kitchen, running it, and taking care of all that she needs to do. Laura's up in the roof.
Yeah. Making friends with the birds in my tree house. And Wolfie's running around.
Singing to them.
She doesn't sing.
Of course.
This is still early in the spring season for this area, and so as you were up there and this tree was recently transplanted and placed over the top of this, there aren't nests and stuff set up yet, but birds are starting to investigate the place and start to grow comfortable with it. You can hear that their kind of calls to each other at this point are more to like greet and welcome other birds to it, and we're trying to just kind of establish this as a safe place for them, and so that's kind of the note and tone of what the birds are saying.
Oh,
bird secret.
Yeah. So meeting them and the fellow. Are there any other like animals making a home up here?
Not yet.
Just you.
No,
Just a bird box.
just a bird box.
Bird box.
Just a box for birds. And
Sublime.
So I'm kind of like taking stock of the place, walking around, seeing what plants are there, and making note of which plants I want to add. And there wouldn't be any that I would want to get rid of, but mostly just thinking of plants that I want to have, whether for eating or for prettiness. And Wolfie's running around, and is it all pretty like woodsy, jungly, or is there like a big open space anywhere?
So you've got one large tree that comes up pretty tall, no branches on it until you get up to the very top. So it allows for a very clear view of the sky, the city around, and all of that. A ladder built into that, and a little elevator type rope pulley system for Strokoff to be able to get up into the treehouse above. And then once you get down to the bottom, it's set up where there are rows of garden boxes, like raised boxes. There's about 3 of those to the ground, and then there's an open space between your place and over to Thelon's. So there's like organized garden, open space, and then up into the tree.
He's kind of frolicking around in the open space and like rolling around in the grass and stuff, and taking in his spot.
Yeah,
He's on the tree.
Probably.
He and Oba are just rolling around and chasing each other in all of this space. And Thelon's kind of taken off to his own and is quietly up in a little hammock in his space as well. And you can see him every once in a while. He peeks his head up and he's just watching Oba and Strokoff just run around and chase. And he's got a little smile to his face, and then he lays back. Gwendolyn, with her time and space.
Yeah. I will go knock on Laura's door.
There's no door. You just come in.
Knock on the bark. I will not frequently bother you in this space, but I was wondering, with your little nature get-up, do you think you would have any flowers for the bees to pollinate?
Yes.
Some honey?
Yes.
I've got this whole brewery situation in my room, so
Yeah. If you want to keep your bees up here, I would love that. No, I make plans for collecting some pollinator flowers when I go back down.
and you can always have any of the honey you need for
Thank you.
those things you do. But yeah, some honey nail. That'd be good.
Know what I do with honey?
Are the bees
Eat it.
sentient?
What do you mean? Like, what do you...
I don't know. I'm picturing like letting them out of the jar.
Oh, they happily spin around.
So that they're like in there, but then I'm also curious if like at a snap could they like follow me back to my room?
Oh yeah, you've always had like
Okay.
a strong connection with them in the way that you trust them to do what you expect them to do, and
Yeah.
they kind of follow your...
So yes, sentient. Is this a situation where like every time I leave the estate I have to be like, and I go to the room to get that? Thank God. And then I may have us set up flowers too at the house. Okay, but we'll see. Cool. So yeah, I'll just like open the jar and the bees flutter about, and they're probably very happy because they've been in a jar for a long time.
Yeah.
Haven't swarmed anyone in a while because y'all are always too close and I don't want to hurt you. So yeah, the bees can hang, and one lands on Wolfie's nose.
He does that.
Wonderful. Well,
It stings him and his mouth gets huge.
He's allergic.
He suffocates and dies.
No.
Do I have to roll for Wolfie?
No, I'm just joking. It doesn't.
he died.
What? No.
So, y'all reconvene for lunch, and Thule is sweating up her
I meant to
work.
say I would help Julie with lunch after the bee
Right.
story. Sorry.
So Thule and Gwendolyn, let's start.
You walk in to see Thule has cast control flames and is like slow cooking the meat on one side, and then for Loreleth, she wanted to make some vegetables, but the only thing she knows how to do is she has like 2 big stir fry pans with like Brussels sprouts and onions, and you walk in just as she has tossed a bunch of alcohol into them and cast produce flames, and you just see this huge burst of flames to flambe the Brussels sprouts. So they are very charred. Hopefully delicious, but charred.
Sounds a little
Sounds
burner.
like Garrison and Dan making
Smoking some
work
meats.
in our kitchen.
Yeah, there you go.
It's going great.
And then Julie takes a little bit of salt. It goes. Perfect.
Hi, Gwen.
So, oh yeah, y'all go ahead.
Can I help with lunch?
Well, sure. You want to start setting the table?
That'd be great.
Awesome. And then she kind of like gestures with her foot. I think stuff is over there.
I will set the table
Okay.
for however many of us there are. Not
Yeah.
12.
I quietly follow behind Gwen and help with that part of it.
Wow, friendship.
Okay. So,
Julie's whistling Timber by Kesha as she's sitting.
But it's a new sound that no one's heard before.
But it's about like a tree actually falling.
eventually, one by one, the full group is smelling cooked meat and vegetables and seasoning and burnt alcohol and all of the above throughout the entire place.
She also cuts the watermelon up
That's
into 6
wonderful.
slices. But no, into 7 slices, and she gives Lorla 2. But she knows Lorla doesn't eat.
Thank you.
Nice.
Wow.
And there are also grapes and apples and bananas.
That's not
Your vision is history.
Improvising fruit is hard.
Yeah. It's true. It's hard.
And so the full group does come together at the table. And immediately it feels kind of weird and formal because of this massive table and the rooms that y'all are in. And every other time that y'all have met for meals, it's been in the street getting food from the markets or bringing it together or it's being served to you from Munkin and things like that, where it's like you're at somebody else's space and you're kind of at a table where it's very intimate and close with each other. And the space with this table, the way that it's provided, the room, the size of it and all of that, it just feels very formal. It feels very distant and different, but it also feels very clean. And there's this own like ownership that you all have of it too, where it's like, oh yeah, we're doing this on our own now.
You said there's 12 spots?
There are 12 spots at this table, yeah.
Weird.
I think we would have set like 1/2, right?
Yeah, I set 6.
You said close
Yeah.
to
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Close together?
You all huddle at the end
Yeah.
of the table closest towards the
Who's
kitchen.
at the head of the table, though? Not me.
It's a circle.
No, this one's a long
Oh,
dining table, like a
I
rectangle.
don't know. Felon.
Wolfie.
Felon's a wolf.
Wolfie's at the head.
Julie
An oak on his
takes
head.
one of the bones and like throws it to Wolfie for him to eat the marrow.
She catches it. And he puts it down on his plate, and like a gentleman, he takes his 2 paws and he puts it on the bone.
Tucks a napkin into a sweater.
Yes, he still has a sweater on.
Next we do.
We did do the sweater thing.
Gwen will say, I'm pretty sure we're puppets of this regime now. And the episode ends.
Oh no! Puppets!
You don't think with oil paintings of populace in this house that the government provided
Honestly, I
us?
believe it.
We're puppets of the regime.
We're under her thumb.
Alright.
This is so good.
It's time to rebel.
Do you want to read your joke? It's probably the same. Joey didn't hear it.
It's the same.
What is it?
Read
Did you know that if you say pumpkin latte blonde 3 times in a row, a girl in yoga pants will appear to tell you what she loves most about fall?
Nice.
Yeah.
My next joke, it says Leonardo da Vinci.
Leonardo da Vinci.
Leonardo da Vinci.
This is the first time the party has actually been together in like a week and a half. What would like to be shared?
Yo, guys, you never guessed what I did.
Gabagool.
What?
What? Does mine have a joke?
You have to guess.
Well, this is, Pilgrim was literally about to say something, and then that happened, so Pilgrim's frozen like this. And I'm just speculating misery.
Pilgrim, what's up? What's up with you?
I was just going to make a toast.
Oh, okay, let's toast.
To the half dozen. Hip hip.
Okay.
That's us.
Clink, 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 clink. You don't exist.
You're included.
Yeah, you go away. So where the heck have you been?
Gwen, who are
Pilgrim?
you toasting?
I have been working with Fettergrand to give the,
I roll my eyes really big.
yes. If you'll believe it, I was with Fettergrand Mall. We've been working with the husk stone shards we recovered from the aboleth, and he's created quite the contraption. I was able to connect with my deity. I saw your deity.
Julie perks up. Her
Julie,
mouth is
I-
like stuffed full of venison.
I believe I saw Anivia briefly.
There we go.
I had quite a trip. A trip and a half,
A
you could say.
trip? You tripped?
I did trip balls earlier. It was wild.
Show us for babies.
Oh no! Now we're gonna have to put an explicit warning on it. Have we had to put? We've had to put explicit warnings.
There's not a thing there,
right?
Who's to say? Who's to say?
You like saw Olivia?
I'm not dire. I know I saw what looked like Anivia.
Did you die?
Perhaps. Frankly, the contraption that Farragut has created has powers that neither of us, I believe, fully comprehend. I'm realizing as I speak out loud how dramatic all of this
It is.
sounds. It's been quite a time the two of us have had.
So you could be dead right now.
That's
actually super metal of you for once.
Perhaps. And I focus on one of the fruit and I just kind of lift it up with Mind Link a few times. I'm here. At least my brain works. So perhaps I'm a very smart, undead creature. What have you been doing?
Wait, so this is a telescope that talks to the gods?
Perhaps.
Oh, that's all it does?
He did point it in one direction and it took us to heaven. I don't know.
Could it take you to hell?
I don't.
That would be sick.
I believe he's still learning if the direction the telescope points connects. We heard a strange language, actually, when we pointed it another direction. I try to...
French?
Performance check? I don't know. I try my darndest to recreate the noises.
Performance check.
Yay, yay, yay.
Watch me do like a 1.
Do it in real life. Make it be French.
No, it's going to be a 7.
Your character sheet is that.
Yeah, it's not good. I should just keep the app open instead of my insane scribblings.
Okay. And real quick, while he's looking this up, what languages does everyone at the table speak?
Oh.
Common, deep speech, infernal, and primordial.
Okay.
Ooh.
I feel like
okay.
all of those are from Dune.
Yes, it's an 8.
Whatever the worm speaks, that's what I speak.
Which makes sense because I did not want it on the.
Wow, I'm lame.
All I'd have is common and infernal.
I speak Common and Elvish, apparently.
Okay.
I clicked DoorDash instead of D&D.
I speak McDonald's.
Wow.
I speak dash pads.
I'm pulling it up.
I don't know what I speak, but there's a delicious salad on its way from Texas.
Salad.
You got Celestial, Common, Elvish, Goblin, and Sylvan.
Ooh, he said goblin louder than the other ones.
This is fascinating to me.
Yeah,
But he
that's
also
my new
said
one.
celestial.
Yeah, let me
You
look
learn
at
Goblin.
I think
I think so.
Wow.
Yeah, because I wanted to learn how to fight these freaking goblins that killed our horse.
Okay. So everyone at the dinner table listening to Pilgrim try to talk through some words that he might have misunderstood through a god telescope.
Ooga doo doo da da. Oogie woogie boogie.
Nobody understands at all any word that he possibly says from it.
Oh well.
Well, that's unfortunate.
So it is a very foreign, very hard to decrypt language.
Dang.
So yes, one direction was the ball trip, the other direction was the language you just heard. We are in the process of figuring out exactly what it does, and I, as is often the case, don't know how I feel about much of anything right now, but it's quite a journey. You certainly have been through the ringer, it seems.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and Tuli's kind of like looking down at her plate, like just nonchalantly, of like, yeah, the guard's been really cool. Hank Troutman is awesome. I joined an illegal fighting ring. I think I might be promoted soon. And she just like keeps like breezing right by that.
Do we actually have a follower named Hank Troutman? No. I forget the origin of this joke.
So basically, Dan is gaslighting us, and we all know he's real.
I'm not a
He's
person?
insisting that he's real. What?
What?
No, Hank Troutman was like the most generic, vanilla, basic name I could have come up with.
Hank Troutman?
Don't listen to him. That's not nice.
Instead of like Lalandra Diddle.
John Smith.
Lalandra Diddle.
Clan.
Shrimplow.
The goblin.
Wait, did you say person Shrimplow?
Sniffing Shrimplow.
Joey, when are you going to DM the campaign?
I don't know. There's gonna be a lot of apostrophes in my names.
Oh man.
A lot of silent Ys.
I'm asking myself why silently right now.
Hey! Hey.
Tell me why
Ain't nothing but a hard
Troutman.
Tell me why
Ain't nothing but a Parisian shrimp ball.
Tell me why I never
What are we doing?
say I
What's in that watermelon?
How are we not famous?
We are in Australia. Thanks, Australia.
Thanks,
we love
Australia.
you.
Nar.
Oh no!
I think we have like a listener in Australia.
No, we have like a group of people that are in Australia, right? It's like
Yeah.
a friend group.
Yeah, Thule
What are we
just
doing?
said.
Yeah.
I tried to respond.
Yeah,
Can
or
I
you
me to
can-
repeat what I said?
Yeah.
I
Hold on.
was just, after you, I assume, like, list a bunch of things.
right.
Illegal fight ring?
Tuli is not fully against it. Yeah. And then she swallows it and says,
Would you like to share with the class?
I'm so glad. She's like carving the meat as she's talking, and she says, yeah, so you know Hank Troutman.
Yeah.
He works with
He's real.
the guard, and I guess he could tell I was kind of feeling a little bored with like patrol duty, and so he said, "Have you ever heard of this like illegal fighting ring?" And I was like, "No, but that sounds like a must." And he said, "Well, let me show you it." And so yeah, I had like 6 or 7 fights. I was like,
So good.
yeah, and so I won all of them anyway. But
Oh wow.
One.
yeah, and you know your friend Jacasho, or probably Tricasho.
Tricosho.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, so Hank knows him. Can you believe that? Like, what a small town.
Can you believe?
The breadth of my belief is widened considerably.
Tuli then goes like, so Tuli is like, yeah, so anyway, Jacasho said that there's this big fighter guy who heard about my matches, and he's coming into town tomorrow night. And he
So-
wants to fight me.
Oh my gosh.
Can
That's
you believe
awesome.
that?
I will be there. Can I be there?
I would I'm so glad you asked. I would love, she like puts her forks down, she's like, the forks, you heard me. She says, I would love for y'all to come.
Do you guys need like a halftime show?
I can ask. Jacasho seems like a swell guy. I'm
Yeah.
sure he is
there-
really flexible.
Is there an occupational conflict with inviting your friends to the illegal fighting ring as a guards person?
It's better if it's illegal.
So it says, no.
Right.
And she's like, so I don't know, maybe I'll win, maybe I'll lose. I hope I win, but we'll see.
As do I.
I stopped going to my spin class, so I've been needing some like real intense workouts recently, and this has been really helpful. Yeah.
The way you described that reminded me of Stefan from Saturday Night Live, and you were like, this illegal fighting ring has everything.
Hank Troutman? I didn't see that.
Do you know what Hank Troutman is? It's that thing where your DM says the name, but it's actually a name.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's right. Come on out.
I'll be there. I hope you win.
I hope so too. I don't even know if I can use magic. I guess I should have asked. But we'll find out.
Don't
You've
ask
been
me.
fighting for how long and you don't know if you can use magic or
Those
not?
matches were no magic, but this one's special because this guy. his
No
name is-
matches.
This guy, yeah, he's like the torrent, whatever that means. I don't know.
Isn't there?
Oh.
The torrent.
Isn't there like a don't ask, don't tell policy with magic?
No, stop it! Boo!
Totally doesn't get that.
You can come out.
It's fine. Okay, she would laugh anyway though.
What a
Like Rachel.
2000s SNL reference you just made.
We just watched a lot of 2000s episodes.
Oh no.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'm
I'll
sorry.
tell you later off
I
camera.
don't know that that's as much a 2000s SNL reference as a law that went into effect.
Well, of course,
in the
yeah.
2000s.
I only get my news from SNL.
That's the joke I was making. Good. All right. Anything
Don't
else
ask,
that
don't
comes up during lunch?
Whew.
Lunch.
I thought it was dinner. Is it dinner or lunch?
It's the dinner that you have at
Is it dinner?
Sunday.
It's supper.
It's a late lunch that definitely turns into
Supper's a good description.
Would also pull off her like ring necklace of the shallows and say, by the way, does anyone want this?
What?
I have a lot of stuff. Does anyone want this? The necklace of the shallows, this is Rachel, or should I just be Julie? Rachel says, it's the necklace that you attune to it and it lets you breathe underwater.
All right.
So it's the one that saved your life.
Well, it lets you breathe underwater. I don't remember if it saved my... No. The Threadweaver's ring is... I'm keeping that. The necklace of the shallows is what we found, I think, in the lab. It's like an anchor necklace, and it lets you attune to it.
Cool. An anchor.
Very, yeah. And
It says
like,
never synchronized.
it comes with a free, like...
Yeah.
Never mind.
You have to tune in.
Oh yeah,
Like-
you had a whole aside about that.
Three things.
I have
Never
exposure
seen.
protection.
Refuse to sing.
I have
Not never
like
sing.
the
Refuse
Threadweaver's
to sing.
ring, and also I'm a fire mage, and so
Why would you be in water anyway?
I would hopefully not be, but I have been. So anyway, but here you go.
Misery is not that interested. So he goes, nah.
Is Misery minding his own business?
It's not Misery's business.
I would just look eyebrows raised around the table and wait for everyone else to decline before I were to take it. So if anyone else is
Nah.
all yours.
I mind link it on over.
You made Mage Hand.
Mage hand.
Oh. He's like, what?
The fruit earlier, and I was like,
The fruit's my friend. Yeah.
Julie, like,
I am mage hand.
I mage handed over, yeah. I've also been mage handing food onto my plate the whole time.
Yeah. Anything else major conversation-wise for catching up with the full group?
my inspiration for that moment was the character from Parks and Rec from Eagletown, who like April makes friends with.
Yes.
Who wears like a sheath dress.
Jennifer.
Jennifer. Her name's Jennifer.
How do you remember that?
I don't know, but I
Is she the one that tries to sell them beef milk?
No.
Oh.
No, that's a famous person.
She's from Eagleton. Eagleton.
Ingleton.
Then I think we can fade to black on the party then, kind of just resulting into comfortable eating jokes and just reestablishing connection and familiarity with each other since y'all have been pretty distant and just minding your own
Thinking in the
business over the
background.
last week. Hey! What was Pilgrim's thing?
Hip okay.
Hip hip, oh that's right. Hip hip.
To the half dozen have hip okay.
Hip hip, okay.
Hip hip okay.